So we're going to build two layers on top of themselves right now. One layer, importantly, is about your identity. That really is the foundation of this video because that's the foundation of everything that you do in your life. The second layer is how you take that identity and move it into a relationship and then maintain what you have decided your identity to be. Because I've talked to a lot of people over the years that are in long-term relationships and they're in marriages and they're unhappy because at the beginning of the relationship, so even if you're not in a long-term relationship, this is relevant to the very beginning stages of dating, of just meeting somebody, of being true and honest to yourself. And the reason why there's two layers here is that most people never actually take the time to define who it is that they want to be when they're single. So not just what do I want to do for work, but who am I? And who do I want to work to become? And if you look 10 years into the future and say, this is the person that I want to be, am I being true to that path today at this time? And you have to solidify that, and you have to make decisions every single moment of every single day to reflect the reality that you want to create in your own world, in your own future, in your own life, in your own relationships. But the challenging part is when you meet someone and you feel that spark and you feel that intensity and you feel that attraction, but maybe they don't fully align with who it is that you want to be. It takes a certain amount of strength to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm accepting in my life. And if you don't necessarily fit into it, it doesn't mean you're a bad person, it doesn't mean anybody is better or worse, it just means we're not necessarily compatible. Now, of course, we all have to make adjustments. Of course, we all have to compromise. That's part of a relationship, that's part of communication, that is part of giving somebody else what they want as well. But there's a big difference between compromise and complete self-sacrifice. There's a big difference between giving up everything that you've wanted in life because you think it's what somebody else might want. And I'm talking to the guys with this one, specifically at this point, because a lot of male clients that I've worked with have told me that after a couple of months, they've done what they thought the woman wanted and they became this person that they thought she wanted to be with, and then she lost interest. And inevitably I say, well, did you keep doing the things that were attracted to you in the first place? That passion, that path you were on when you were single is part of the attraction. That's what she likes about you. She doesn't want a puppy dog she can just drag around everywhere she goes. If she wanted that, she would go and get a puppy dog. She wants a guy who's on his own path, who has his own mission, who has his own purpose, who has his own identity. And when she met you, if you were strong in that, then that was one of the things that attracted her to you. But the problem is, if you get down the road and you've noticed you've given it up completely, I'm not talking about, again, little adjustments here and there that are necessary. I'm talking about you look in the mirror one day and you go, who am I? Naturally, the relationship is going to face struggles. Naturally, there are going to be challenges. Naturally, there's going to be an internal conflict with yourself because you look in the mirror and you don't know who the hell you're looking at. And if you can't relate to the person that you are anymore, how is your significant other going to look at you and still love that person that they saw in the first place? It is an evolution, of course. We change over the years. We grow, hopefully. We develop, hopefully. We improve, hopefully. But what we have to do is do that alongside someone who is also working to grow and working to improve. But we do it on parallel paths and also together. So we're growing as individuals and we're growing as a couple. But what's most important is we're growing authentically, we're growing in a way that makes us feel good about ourselves, that makes us feel good about our relationship, that makes us feel like we are doing something that is in alignment with what we have chosen for our lives. So what we first have to do is choose what it is that we want out of our life, choose who it is that we want to become, and choose who it is that we want to be with. And then what we need to do is we need to make decisions every moment of every day that are in alignment with that choice, because if we don't, we're going to feel conflict. And when you feel stress, when you feel depression, when you feel conflict, when you go out into the world and you don't feel like you're actually living the life that you want to be living, it's because your actions are out of alignment with the identity that you've chosen. So of course, naturally, if you choose a relationship or if you choose a partner that pull you out of that alignment, of course you're going to feel conflicted. And of course, you're going to be by yourself at the end of the day. Even if there's somebody laying next to you, you're going to be laying awake by yourself. You are the only person inside your own mind. And you're going to be thinking about the life that you're living right now. Whose life is this? Right? It's like the song, I forget the name, but it's like the song that's, this is not my beautiful house. This is not my, right? This isn't my life. And so many times we get so far down this road that we're living a life that somebody else set up for us because we weren't willing to set a stake in the ground and say, this is my identity, this is who I'm going to be, this is who I'm going to work to become, and I'm strong enough in this that I'm not going to be set off the rails. Now, I want to make sure and I want to reiterate that I'm not saying to cut people out of your life the second that they're different from you. I'm not saying to shut out every relationship that doesn't fit your way. We have to compromise. It is a team effort. You can't just put your stake in the ground completely and say, this is it, my way or the highway. That's not how life works. So it can be very, very lonely and very, very unhappy if we just stick to one thing forever. Flexibility is important, but being true to your values and your beliefs and your identity is even more important. Because when you go off a path to the point that it's unrecognizable, you might not be able to find your way back on it again. So I think we have to be upfront and honest with our communication. We've talked about this in other videos, in the sense of this is who I am, this is who I'm working to become, and this is the life I have envisioned for myself. Now, you can have, again, differences and compromise and be able to say, I want to live in the city, I want to live in the country. Well, we'll live in the suburbs. You find a middle ground, right? It's not just about my way or the highway, of course, but it is about the clarity of knowing what is important enough to you that you can decide what you want to set aside. You can decide when something more important comes along. Maybe you meet a partner who makes you question all the vision that you had in your own life. Maybe you wanted to live in the city forever, and all of a sudden you meet somebody who makes you want to have kids when you never thought about it before, and now you want a big house in the suburbs. It's natural to evolve over time. But that's the whole point of identity, right? Is that you carry that with you no matter where you go, no matter who you're with, no matter what car you're driving, no matter where you're living in. You are always going to be you. So that is the key. That is the thing that we can't compromise. That is the thing we can't sacrifice or give up. Because the second you start to compromise your identity, the second you lose sight of everything else around you. But if you stay steadfast in who it is that you're working to become, you can say, yeah, this person would live elsewhere. This person would drive something else. This person would be flexible when it comes to their relationship, when it comes to their spouse, because they value this over that. They value the relationship over the things. But once you start to value all of that over yourself is when you lose sight of what's really, really important to you. So I cannot more strongly encourage you to get so crystal clear on who it is that you're working to become and the life that you are working to create for yourself. Because when you have that vision, you can better decide in the beginning of a relationship who fits into it in a way that complements you, who has a similar vision for themselves, where is the compatibility actually going to be found? Because I think so many times, again, we find one little thing, one little spark of attraction, and we start to push aside our own wants and our own needs and our desires to the point that we get so far down the road with this person that we completely forget where we started. And there's no trail of breadcrumbs back to where you came from. You've got to start all over again when it falls apart because you're frustrated that you don't know who you are and they're frustrated that you're not the person they were attracted to in the first place. So always remember, is this in line with my identity? Every morning when you wake up, the first thing you do in the morning, the person that you're working to become in 10 years, is that what that person would do? The way you eat in the afternoon, at lunchtime, at work, or whatever, is that the way this person would eat? Who are you working to become? And what's the relationship look like? What does the partner look like? And envision it in your mind until it's so strong that you make it a reality. But I'm telling you right now, if you're so flimsy in the reality that you choose for yourself or that you accept for yourself, if you don't have a steadfast vision of what your identity is going to be, the universe is just going to choose one for you. And if you've ever played a video game or if you've ever done anything where you've got random selection or you ever played a quick pick lottery where the machine picks the numbers for you, it doesn't usually work out in your favor. So guys, choose your identity and live by it every single day. And both your relationships and yourself will be stronger because of it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.